Welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty. And joining me today is, Mike B.
What it do?
He's the only one here.
As always.
Well, as always.
I'm always here.
I said you the only one here.
It seemed like as always. One of these days, your boy JT coming back.
Did we leave him in 2016?
He left himself in 2016. After being gone for so long, though, especially with doing something like this, it's kind of hard to motivate yourself to get back into it.
That's true.
And then, like I always mention, the way you two go back and forth.
I should be happy for the break, right?
I don't think you're happy. You're sad because you miss it.
In a way, I do.
Yeah, you like to argue. It's nothing wrong with that.
No. I just miss that third person there.
Okay. I could get like a cutout of JT and put him right there, and every now and then push a button and play some of his sayings.
No, oh God,
that's not the same.
God, no, we don't want his sayings. He couldn't leave those in 2016. So, how's everything going? How's your week going?
You would wait until I pick up my cup.
It's life.
Yeah. Everything good so far. I actually saw JT today. I took him to go and pick up his car, and that was a process.
Take him to pick up his car is a process.
Yeah, well, his car was getting worked on and had to go and get other stuff, and it's a process. It wasn't like go drop you off and I'm gone. I can go back home, finish playing my video games. You got to make sure everything is cool. You can't just leave them. I would have felt.
At least you wasn't doing nothing important.
I was doing something important. Do you know how hard I work at video games? They don't call me the number one gamer for nothing.
They call you the number one gamer?
They do every now and then.
Every now and
then. The people around me, they call me the number one gamer. Not the gaming community. They don't know me like that. Because I really don't play games online. So how would they know me?
So you got a lot of dedication.
Oh, I'm dedicated to almost everything I do. You should know that. We ain't talking about free time. That's what I don't have is free time.
Well, you would if you wasn't.
No,
I
got the game. I got the game to remain sane. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says that.
You got the game to remain sane. Mm-hmm. A lot of people would buy that, especially right now. So,
what's up with you?
Not much. Nothing at all.
Are you fully recouped? You're fully recovered from your surgery you had, or what's up?
Yeah, I can move around, shake, shimmy, and everything else. Are
you talking about your boobs?
No, I was talking about me. But
shake, shimmy, but you're moving your upper body right now. They can't see you.
Down.
Oh, okay, I'm like, is this boob talk or something? What's going on right now?
No, I'm good. I'm fully recovered, back 100%. Doctor said everything's great. So,
that's good.
And I'm back to my family asking me to do things. So being pampered is over.
Was somebody pampering you?
My mom did.
That's good. At least you got somebody you can call.
My aunt did for about 3 hours.
I think you would work my nerves because you seem to require a lot.
Actually,
and it's not just a lot. It's like specific things that would irritate me. Like you would want some water. I would go to the faucet and get you some water, but you want some specific water from your little fancy water machine.
Well, yeah, that's what I got it for.
No, if I'm closer to the water fountain, to the faucet, that's what you're going to get. Hey, just be glad that somebody is helping you. See, I ain't helping your ass no more. Even though I wasn't there. It don't even,
you wasn't there.
It don't even matter. I retire already.
Wow, you ain't even started. You retired off of your own thoughts.
Because I know you. I know you.
No, I don't think I was that bad at all. I slept the majority of the time. And then I sat on the couch. The only time I think she got frustrated with me was when I told her, okay.
She needed to wipe you.
No.
Oh.
I'm gross. No.
Well, you're recovering. I don't know.
My right arm still works.
Oh, okay.
My left arm might have been down, but my right one was fine.
You wipe with your right hand?
I wipe whatever hand is going to work. It don't matter.
I didn't think we would be talking about this. Though.
You started it.
Anyway.
But no, I think the only time she got frustrated with me was when I had watched, she had the news on. Mm-hmm. And, there are times of the day when the news just runs back to back to back to back. And it was like 4 episodes of some newscast. And actually, we were watching CNN, so that's nothing
Yeah,
but news.
I knew.
So and it was just on, and all they were talking about was Trump, 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 Trump. And for 2 hours, I sat there and listened to it. And by 2.5, I said, "Look, we gonna have to turn the channel." She wasn't even in there; she was in the kitchen.
You were having to suffer through it.
Right? And I was like, "We got to turn this channel." And I'm watching this. I said, "Lady, you in the kitchen? You ain't seen nothing in the last 2 hours." She said, "Yes, I am." I said, "What they talking about?" She said, "Trump." I said, "That's easy. Come on now."
You can turn to any station. It can be cartoons, and they definitely talking about Trump.
So she had a hissy fit, and that was it. But otherwise, no, I don't require much because I pretty much want to be left alone. I like to be. I'll
let you have that. No need to just go back and forth. But as far as requiring much, you do. That's all I'm going. Are we gonna leave it?
What have I required of you?
We gonna leave it.
All people.
Oh no, I had to break you. I said, "Hey, it's not."
And
about
on that note,
it's not about
anyway.
to happen. I'm a simple man.
So the biggest thing that has gone on in the past 2 weeks is we have a new president, and I think we all know who his name is. I'm having a little problem putting president and his name in the same sentence, so y'all gonna have to work with me.
You don't have to. We know who you're talking about.
And so his inauguration was Friday, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I did not turn on my television from 8:30 Thursday night to 5:30 p.m. yesterday, and that was only to watch the world news. And unfortunately, all they talked about was Trump.
Of course.
I was hoping we had some other things going on in the world
No,
that they would share with us.
It's a day of festivities.
But El Chapo was
being
brought
extradited
back.
Yeah.
And he's here, and they didn't say. I got 2 sentences scrolled across the bottom of my screen about El Chapo.
But it ain't like, he's coming here, seeing a judge or whatever. But that's nothing. That's not news.
I mean,
because
it's news that
it's
he was
news
caught
to
and
know
extradited
that he's
back.
being extradited back. But nothing's happened since then. He made it. Okay.
We don't know if anything's happened since then because they not sharing nothing but
nothing has happened.
Trump.
Yeah.
So
I'm so over it though.
Did you see any of the festivities?
Before I went to sleep Thursday night, I programmed my cable boxes to automatically turn to the Animal Planet because I refused to be counted as one of the people that watched that bullshit ass inauguration. It wasn't gonna be me. I didn't care. I didn't want to watch. I didn't support it, not one bit. And then Friday morning, because I knew everybody was gonna be talking about it, so I tried my damnedest to stay off of social media because I didn't care. I didn't want to know what was going on. I just didn't care.
Well, before the inauguration itself, Trump said his was going to be the biggest of all times. People were rolling in by the numbers and blah, 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 yada, 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 yada.
Can you say that and then at the same time be trying to peddle your tickets on, give out free inauguration tickets to get people there? If people are coming, then you don't have to do that. So, and then we saw the photos. We saw the parade, the video of the parade route.
I unfortunately have to let you know, Donald Trump, that you lied.
Yeah.
Point blank, Barack Obama, 1.8 million people went to his first inauguration. 1 million people went the second time. So 2.8 million people wanted to see him get put in office. Only they are estimating. They do not have an actual number yet, but 700,000 to 900,000.
700 to 900,000.
Correct.
We had that amount in Kansas City alone at the World when the Royals won the World Series. And the Royals aren't presidential, even though that was more exciting.
Yes, it was. And that I watched.
Me too. I left work early to come and just watch the festivities. I think I still got some of the festivities on my DVR because that was a moment in history. Yes. And it wasn't a negative history. It was positive history.
It was historical, and it wasn't done off the backs of people. Done off the backs of other people, and it wasn't done in a way to scare anybody.
No, it was the Royals' hard work winning, and they won fair and square. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then what about all the controversy about them trying to get people to perform at the inauguration?
I heard Chrisette Michele performed, and
she
now
did end up performing.
Spike Lee won't use her music in his new show.
Well, the thing is, she tried to keep it on the low. She didn't want anybody to know that that's what was going on, because once people found out who was going to be performing, they started to attack. Like, hey, how could you perform at this bullshit? You know what this man stands for. He's not about, Americans. He's about the rich. The same thing happened to, what's her name? Jennifer Holiday? Is it Holiday?
Oh, gosh. She's the original singer of, now I can't even remember.
And I am telling you.
And that's the name of the song. I'm not going. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, but when it came out that she was going to be performing there, people went in, they started going off on her, and it's like, how could you try to support this guy who doesn't support us, who doesn't support people? He only supports the elite.
And she talked about that.
I saw her interview on The View.
Yeah, she talked about how she didn't know what was going on at first, because of course, as a musician, you are touring around the country. A lot of times you don't pick up a magazine, look at social media,
or turn on the TV.
You don't have a lot of time. So she was talking about how she didn't really know what was going on at first, and she thought she was just being patriotic, and then she started getting death threats. And then she said the thing that changed her mind was when one magazine printed her own words and used them against her. And she said that's when she
didn't want to be considered a liar.
I'm not a hypocrite. I am not a liar. So she pulled out. I personally would not have been, as any kind of artist, I wouldn't have performed for it, because I don't agree with anything he stands for, and I don't agree with anything he says. And he disrespected every person on the face of this planet aside from rich,
Russia,
white,
and Russia
and Putin.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I have a problem with. I know everybody's saying we need to start coming together. We need to try and heal as a country. But in my mind, it starts from the top. Why are you trying to force us to try and conform and understand where he's coming from, instead of trying to change him and getting him to be a president for all the people versus a president for a few people? That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't come and start talking shit to me and talking down to me because I don't support his ass, and then he doesn't have to change. He can continue to be the bigot, the racist, discriminate against people, talk all this shit, tweet whatever the fuck he wants to, but I need to change. I need to give him a chance. When he changes, I will change. But at this, I don't give a fuck about that dude. Excuse my language. I'm gonna try not to curse on this episode.
When
evidently I feel some type of way.
Yes, you do. When it comes to healing as a country, my neighbor, we can sit, we can have a talk. If you are against what I believe and I'm against what you believe, we can sit and we can dialogue and have a conversation. But as that man, I won't respect him until he shows some respect.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to start with him, instead of you trying to require the American people to change and understand where he's coming from.
People should not change for him.
He should change for us.
The way we deal with each other, we need to come a little.
Now that I can understand that.
The way we deal with each other, that has to change. But dealing with him, oh no. He has not. I mean, today he finally sits down with the CIA, and now he says, "I am 1,000% with you," and blames the problem on the media.
Right.
You know what? We need our media at this point. We need to stop hollering fake news and figure out what's fake and what's real, and find the real stations and start supporting the real newscasters.
No, the thing is,
we've got to have our news.
Some of them are giving the real. He's refuting it because it makes him look bad, and so he's just going against everybody. He's the fucking problem.
And if anybody didn't see that news conference that he decided to have, which I think he had at the time of Sessions, his hearing, he did it at the same time. So I'm thinking
he was trying to distract us.
He's trying to distract us from this. But that newscast he had, where CNN had kind of, let people know, hey, this is the deal. Supposedly there's some information that Russia has on Trump, but we have not we don't know for sure. This is just what we're being told. He called them a fake news station. Regardless of whether you like CNN or not, regardless of whether you like their point of view or not, that's real news. These are reporters that go out and they get real stories, and they work hard to present what the truth is. You can't look at them and say that's fake news and then look at the Pizzagate story and say, oh, that's real. Mm-hmm. You've got to know where to get your news from. We need our newscasters because somebody's got to tell us what's going on. Because if we leave it to this man, we won't have a clue until black folks is back in shackles. Mexicans are all across the border.
Or the U.S. is in the middle of a fucking war.
And
because of the shit that he says.
What is it? The moon and the sickle? Whatever that is that's on Russia's flag. You'll see it on ours.
It's ridiculous and it's frustrating. And then the other day, one of my relatives, he posted like, I'm 1,000% behind, President Trump or whatever. And you guys need to stop wishing for him to fail. And, I saw it and I got so angry at the ignorance coming from him. And, he's in, the reason I know he's this way is because he's in an interracial relationship. So he's partly trying to pacify his wife's family. So I understood that portion. I immediately went and blocked his wife because I'm like, I'm over this shit. You're trying to, brainwash him. And people can feel however they want to feel based on how it affects them. You can't tell black people not to feel some type of way when you got somebody who discriminates against black people in a position of power. You can't tell Muslims to stop, support this guy when he's against what they believe in. It's not your right to try and tell people how to feel about things that affect them just because it doesn't affect you and you don't have to deal with it. You can turn a blind eye to the issues affecting other people.
Here's the thing. Nobody wants him to fail. If he fails, we all fail.
Right.
Nobody wants him to fail.
I think we understand that.
But when one of his first acts on his first day, what does he do? He goes in and he messes with mortgage rates with HUD. Mm-hmm. Okay, so HUD is Housing and Urban Development. Yeah. Okay, and we already got Ben Carson over HUD. But let's be real. Most black Americans are going to be affected by HUD.
They benefit from those programs.
Those programs. Mm. And he goes in and removes things that Obama put in place. So now housing mortgages will start to increase. Right. That's his first act of business. And you're going to say to me that, you wish him luck. Wish him luck with what? Luck with destroying everything that we need. He's repeal and replace Obamacare. He don't have a plan yet.
But I heard that he signed an executive order on that too, to go ahead with repealing without replacing.
He's that is what they are doing. They are getting ready to repeal, and everybody will tell you, get Obamacare, and that's even what the Democrats are spouting now, because right now it is the law of the land. You have to have insurance. But if he repeals Obamacare before the end of the year, no one can answer the question of what happens with the subsidies that are supposed to cover people paying for Obamacare. Right now, if you have Obamacare and you sign up for the tax credit to pay for Obamacare throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, you pay either a little bit back or you don't pay anything. You usually get even. You just don't get income taxes back. That's usually how it works. Mm-hmm. But if that's the way you're set up, then what happens at next year in 2018 when you go to do your taxes and now that tax credit is no longer there? The government starts to count, okay, your insurance was $244 a month. You only paid $44 because technically you were supposed to get the subsidy to pay the other $200. So now you got to pay $200 a month back. And now you've got a tax bill that's what's 2 times 12? 24. You've got $2,400 you have got to pay back to the United States government because you borrowed on it thinking that tax credit was going to be there. And Channel 41 here in Missouri or Kansas City, they did a healthcare call line or hotline or something. Okay. Was it Friday? No, it was Thursday because that was the last time I saw TV.
Inauguration.
Right, it was the last time I saw TV. So they did that Thursday, and I called them to ask them what happens to those subsidies. What happens at the end of the year? What if I get this and then they take that away? And all they could say is, right now, you got to have health care. It's the law of the land. We have no idea what's going to happen. They don't know.
And it'll be so easy for me. Like a part of me is like, the people who voted for Donald Trump and then are now crying at the fact that what he's doing. I don't have any regrets.
I'm sorry. I don't
care
feel sorry
about
for you at all.
At all. But and then also, I got insurance through my job, so I don't have the affordable care option. My job pays for it. I just pay my little part. But I can still be here saying, you know what, it doesn't affect me, so repeal it. I don't give a damn. But it affects so many other people, and just on the strength of humanity, how could you not care about people's lives and the fact that they got to pay all these premiums, they got to pay for this medicine?
What happens when...
And then the pre-existing conditions.
Well, my biggest thing is what happens when something happens and you lose your health care and now you need something? Or what happens when... Here's the biggest thing, and these are several Republicans now have come out and stood for Obamacare simply because of this. That something happens, they get sick. They get something major like cancer or something that costs a lot of money and a lot of off doctor's visits. And now they don't have insurance with their job. Their insurance carriers dropped them because of their condition, whatever, and they have nothing. And when Obamacare came in place, it literally saved their lives. Literally. Without it, they would not be here. Okay, what happens when that happens to you? Because just don't think that, okay, I got a job right now.
Exactly.
Before the recession, everybody had jobs who really wanted a job.
Right.
People had jobs. People weren't really hard out looking for work. People had jobs, but that recession hit and so many people lost their jobs. I had several people say, okay, now I got to get welfare. I don't know, not welfare, but unemployment. I don't know what to do. I've never done this before. People lost their jobs and had nothing. And if it wasn't for these government programs like unemployment, welfare, food stamps, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare, these people wouldn't have had anything. So what happens when it happens to you? Don't just think because you got it good right now, you always going to have it good.
That's the problem. I feel like if in the minds of some people, if it doesn't affect you directly, you can ignore it. It's not a big problem. Stop your whining. Let the president do his work. When you're not, which means you're not paying attention to exactly what the president and his Congress are doing. And it's no secret because they told us that. And this is another reason. He
made this clear from jump.
This is another reason that I don't feel sorry for the people who voted for him that are now feeling backlash and they have regrets because he told you. Now, he also lied, but the rest of America told you that he was lying. You refused to admit.
But, not even that. He lied constantly. That right there should have told you.
But they said, you know what? That's the media.
He talked the talk. He walked the walk, period. He was not. There was not one point where I thought, okay, well, maybe he's going to be a good guy.
There may be a point where you hoped.
There wasn't even a point where I hoped.
There was a point where I hoped that, this was all a gag. This was all a joke.
Now, that's what I thought it was. A gag, a joke. I just knew he was going to pull out.
I think we even talked about this. Like, he's not, the only reason that they're having him run is to guarantee that Hillary wins.
Yeah, or TV ratings. We talked about several things. It's like, this is not happening. And I think that's also partially why the Democrats lost, because they didn't believe this could happen. I don't believe there is a Democrat on the face of this earth that really sat there and said, yeah, this is going to happen. No.
Because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all, especially with what he was doing, with what he was saying. He disrespected white women. He disrespected black people, Mexicans, Muslims. He disrespected the Pope.
He disrespected the disabled. He doesn't care.
Everybody.
And a part of me kept saying he's doing everything he can order to lose. Exactly. And people were too stupid to see it. And I'm calling you fucking stupid because people were too stupid to acknowledge what he was doing, realize that it's wrong and it's not for the betterment of America, but they voted for him anyway. And that kind of pisses me off. But anyway.
Here we are. And we in it. Hey, it's on now. It's on and popping. Put your bullshit boots on because you're getting ready to be wading in a lot of it.
And the sad part, though, this is day one after the inauguration. And they've been, it's been nonstop
bullshit.
nonstop.
That's what it is.
Pretty much since the election.
Since the moment he put his little hands on them two little Bibles, it's just been, oh my God. And for people who don't see it, you don't see it right now. That's okay. Because you're going to see it. Mm-hmm. If you can't see it right now because you can't look outside and look at the big picture and how
because
things
it doesn't
really
affect
work,
you and you don't think it does,
wait until it does. Because everybody, if you're not a rich white man, he don't care. He does not care. And if you haven't figured that out, look at his cabinet. Look at his cabinet.
And you know what kind of gave me a little bit of hope as well on Inauguration Day was all the anti-Trump protests, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect that at all. Now, some of them got the
fact that they were so violent.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't expect to see them at all, but I don't think that they should have been like tearing up shit.
I mean, some guy came out of the inauguration and his car was burned up. A few guys, their cars was all burned up. I don't know. Well, that's not a protest to me. That's just ignorance.
You riot, but you're rioting against people who support that motherfucker. I'm not saying it's right. But I understand.
How do you know that? This is my thing.
You're at the inauguration.
Yeah, but how do you know that person supported him? Just because you're there it doesn't mean you supported him.
You're there. That's support.
Barack
just like
Obama
watching the television.
Hillary Clinton supported him.
You see how he left? He left on a fucking plane.
Wait a minute. Some of them pictures they got of Michelle and them faces.
She was over it from jump.
I don't know if they just picked. I don't know, but them pictures and them faces was funny.
And I would have been over it as well. But that's supposedly the peaceful transfer of power.
It wasn't.
I wouldn't have been there.
Oh, I wouldn't have been there either. No way. But I mean, here's the thing. And this is what everybody needs to understand. We can go back and forth about the Electoral College. We can go back and forth about how we got there. We can go back and forth about whether or not he needs to be president. Doesn't matter. It is time that we everybody take some responsibility. He's in there. Those of us who did not vote for him and got our butts up and voted, we did. I can't just say we did just our part. Evidently, we didn't yell and scream enough at our family members that didn't get their butt up and vote.
And then some people were just ignorant or they just didn't care.
Right.
Because they didn't feel like it. I've never voted for president and, I've never felt it. It's never affected me.
Right. It's never affected me, blah, blah, blah.
Had you been paying attention, you would have realized that for 18 months, this man has been trying to let you know that you're going to feel this one.
Oh, yeah. And I think we all going to feel him at some point. So, I mean, it's time we take responsibility and we fix where we screwed up. We're getting ready to have a chance in 2 years to change Congress.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The look of Congress.
Because there's no balance.
We have got to, that's it. We've got to get a balance in there. That's number one. But number two, when it comes to the presidency, we have got to stop looking at the presidency as a color, especially black people. We tend to say that president is not going to do anything for us. There's no president on the face of this earth that's going to ever do anything for us. The president cannot do for us. He has to do for the country. I've said that before. Okay. But the reality is I think the president can do things for us because the president does things for other nationalities. No.
Yes.
No. Let me finish.
Okay. You can finish, but don't say no.
No.
Well, you're wrong.
No. The president, that's not their job. They have to do what is.
I didn't say that.
Finish.
I didn't say that.
Let me finish.
I'm letting. Oh well, we about to go back and forth on this one. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but the reality is, if you start looking at things and how they affect economic statuses, different economic classes, then you can start to see better how things work. And yeah, he did. Barack Obama was able to do for gay people and make gay marriage okay, because everybody in the world is not against gay people. There are sectors that are against gay people, and there are sectors that are God this and God that and da 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 da. However, gay people are a part of every class, every monetary class. So you got poor gay people, you got rich gay people, you got. I mean, and they're there by record numbers. Mm-hmm. And there are gay people that are there that are still in the closet and hiding in the closet. They're there record numbers. Black people don't exist in every sector. So
you were trying to say they're not rich black people? They're not poor black people?
Not at those numbers. Not at those numbers. They're rich black people, But you got the 2%ers, only 2 black people are in it, Oprah and Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre wasn't in it until he did his deal with iPhone. So it's not too many rich black people, And then you got basketball players.
But I feel like I could respect your argument if this particular president that's in office right now wouldn't be doing whatever he wants for 1% of the people. 1% of the people versus black people.
I'm not talking about this particular president. I'm talking about.
You said presidents, period.
Yes, I'm looking at presidents, period.
And I said I would respect your argument.
Okay, if it wasn't for. Okay,
exactly.
I understand that, but I'm not really referring to this particular president.
He don't count.
No, he gonna count. He gonna count a whole lot of ways. But in this particular situation, when I looked at the presidency, when I looked at this election, I wasn't looking at Hillary Clinton. I wasn't looking at Donald Trump. I was looking at SCOTUS. I was looking at Black America fighting for basic rights of survival. I was looking at, let me finish. I was looking at, now, see, you made me lose my train of thought.
Because you're going to make me lose mine, and I think that's your intention.
No, I was looking at the things that were actually happening that whatever president could sit in there would handle. Black people looked at Hillary and all they could see is, oh my gosh, she called us super predators. And they just started thinking negative thoughts and, oh, she's a crook. I never saw any evidence of a crook. Oh, she lied. She this, she that. And they did not look at the real issues. So now black people who voted for Jill Stein or the other guy that had no chance of winning, they literally took and cast their vote for nothing. Instead of looking at Hillary as the crook that they saw her as, they should have been looking at the person who was going to put in the ninth judge for SCOTUS. They should have been looking at the person who was going to say, are we going to go back to stop and frisk? They should have been looking at the issues and how the person at the helm of the issues was going to handle them. Because Roe v. Wade, turning over Roe v. Wade, abortion, all of these things, Planned Parenthood, Obamacare, all of these things that are important, the issues that were important when it came to her, they weren't looking at the issues. They were looking at bullshit.
I think you're making a huge assumption about maybe say some of the people, but you're making it seem like all the black people who didn't vote for Hillary Clinton didn't look at the issues.
I'm saying everybody I talked to, most of the people I've talked to, most of the people I've seen.
That you've okay. Well, you're quantifying it then when you say the people that you've talked to. But that wasn't your initial statement. You were making it seem like all black people.
I am quantifying
and that's not. I don't think that was fair.
I would love to see some black people who can tell me why they voted for Jill Stein when they knew. Because you still know
that she doesn't have a choice.
No chance in winning. And when it would be different if Jill Stein was getting as many votes as Hillary. It would have been different if you were voting for Bernie or Hillary. But when it came to voting at that point, you're voting for Trump or Hillary. You know good and well Trump's going to overturn Obamacare because he's been saying it from day one. You know he wants to build that wall. You know he wants to put Muslims on a ban list. You know what he wants to do. You know what he's been saying. Why would you vote for Jill Stein or the other guy? I can't even remember his name. Knowing
this is. For some reason, this argument even seems weird because I don't know black people that were voting for Jill Stein. I know black people that weren't voting, period.
I know
because
I
of the things that Hillary
voted for Jill Stein. Oh, because I like what she said. What she say about what? Yes, and this is why.
But I feel like that's a real small minority. Real small.
It is. It's still there.
Okay.
Had they? Think about it. She lost one state, one of the swing states, by 10,000 votes. Think about it. That's a lot. That's not a lot of votes. That's very few votes.
But I'm just saying that if you were talking about why black people didn't vote, period, and those issues versus them.
Gotten to that because you keep cutting me off.
Well, you should have started with that and then maybe went to Jill Stein because I don't think it was that many people that voted for Jill Stein. Black people. Why are you blaming black people right now?
Right now,
what is that all about?
This is what I'm not blaming black people. Well, actually,
you are. This whole 10 minutes has been black people.
I am.
Yeah.
Because had black people gotten out and voted, he wouldn't have won. That's the reality.
Okay.
And that's the reality we need to look at. We didn't vote. We didn't come out and vote. And we had all our reasons as why not vote, why to not vote. Well, all the reasons to blame everybody else for the issue. And now we're all in this situation because either we didn't vote or we wrote in a vote that was absolutely not going to happen. No way in hell. We wasted the vote we had. And we did that because we were looking for somebody to fix things for us versus looking at, okay, wait a minute. These are the issues on the table. These issues actually will affect me or affect the people I know and love. And we didn't. You don't think people didn't look at those issues?
The argument you just said, the reason we didn't vote is because we were looking for somebody to fix the issues for us. Like they were looking for that either didn't come out.
Yeah, I said either fix the issues for us, or we didn't like her because that super predators comment. We had reasons to not vote for her that just unfortunately don't even come into play when it comes to the big picture. I'm talking about the big picture. Yeah, she said some crap that I don't like. You know what? I don't think it's a president in history that said something I didn't like. Obama did a couple of things, especially there in the end. I was going, what are you doing? So, I mean, no president is going to say everything I want to hear. There's nobody that's going to say everything I want to hear. But we didn't look at that big picture.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And black people are to blame because they expect to have a president that sometimes looks out for them.
I think to some degree,
is that what you're saying?
Well, I think to some degree, those people that didn't vote, they didn't think he would win. I think a lot of them just didn't think he would win.
A lot of white people didn't think he would win either.
I think a lot of people couldn't fathom the fact that he
because it didn't
win.
make sense.
Yeah, right. And then I think a lot of people just, I'm not going to vote for Hillary because I don't like what she stands for. So I don't want to put my support behind her. I don't want her to win because of me, But
you also have to remember that there's a lot of people out there that didn't vote for her because they don't want to see a woman in that type of position.
And those kind of people
you also have a lot of people
female.
that voted for females. You also have a lot of people that voted for Donald Trump because they were looking at the Supreme Court and they were looking at like maybe one specific issue that's going to benefit them and not looking at the bigger picture. And now those are the same people who are crying about the Obamacare that they didn't fucking know was the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, right. Oh, that was the biggest thing. I had to tell even my Facebook family. I said, look, you know what? They the same thing. If you don't know they're the same thing, you in the wrong country. This is something you should know.
Well, because, when Republicans try to point it or paint it as this negative thing, then they want to put Obama's name with it because they know that they're playing to a racist base. It was
a marketing gimmick.
Yes.
I totally understand that. It was a marketing gimmick. But you as a voting American ought to know the difference. That's your responsibility.
But you're saying that to people who voted for Donald Trump.
No, I'm not saying it to people. I'm not talking to people who
I'm saying
voted for
you
Donald
expect
Trump.
them to be smart and they voted for Donald Trump.
That's on them. Like I said a long time ago, they getting ready to get what they asked for. Not let them have fun because I don't feel sorry for none of them. I'm talking to people who didn't vote for Donald Trump. I'm talking to those people who didn't vote at all, and those people who took their vote and put it towards somebody
and now just
who had
people
no chance of winning.
In general, and you through attacking the black people.
No, I'm specifically talking to my people. Okay. Because we have got to stop. The reality is we can sit there and say all of this has to do with slavery. All we want. And it does. Slavery contributes to all of this mess.
Right.
But the reality is we have got to start taking responsibility now. Slavery happened over 100 years ago.
Are you? If you fucking say get over it, we're going to have a problem.
No.
But that's the show almost ended right.
No,
I'm like that happened so many years ago.
I'm not saying get over it.
I'm making sure.
But what I am
because you're feeling yourself.
Is, those people who sit up and say, "Well, my mama didn't do this for me as adults," and you like, okay, come on. Now you an adult. That don't mean you don't do it for your kid. That don't mean you don't get up and you do different and do better.
If you don't know better, though, that's the problem.
But So let's learn. First of all, let's learn how to know better.
There we go.
We can take stuff from people. Let's start taking an education.
There
Let's
we go.
start taking our knowledge back.
There we go.
Learn how our government works.
There we go.
This is why I'm saying take responsibility. I'm not saying that slavery don't matter. Slavery does matter. It is why we are where we are. But we don't have to stay here. We can move forward, but we cannot move forward if you sit in a mindset of, well, the reason it happened was because of slavery, and you don't do anything about it. Take back your education. Take back what's yours. Your Black America's GDP is bigger than Mexico's. Take back your power. We got the money. We got the power. It's time to get the education to go with it. Black women are doing that. In record numbers, Black women are getting their education.
Well, yeah, I can't argue that. And then Black men are getting locked up because they don't want us to have that education.
That's part of it. And then some of our Black men don't want that education as well. So I'm saying it's time to take responsibility, get up, take our power back, take our knowledge back. Let's get over all of this bullshit and start to come together as a people so we can demand the change and demand that those presidents start looking out for us. But as of right now, they're not going to look out for us because we are so scattered. We don't come together. Right. We always end up fighting each other. Right. We don't count for them. We have got to show them that we do count. We got to show them that we count in getting up and voting, and not just voting for the president. You know, did you know that we choose the electorates? We vote them in. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, because I haven't voted for an electorate.
Okay, this is how electorates are voted for in most states. The parties put them together, and whoever is the candidate for the Democratic Party, the Democratic electors are under them. Whoever's the candidate for the Green Party, whoever's the candidate for the Republican Party, I kind of forgot their names there for a minute.
I don't care.
Their electorates are under them. So when you vote for the president, you automatically vote for that party's electorates. But how many people know that? This is not knowledge.
I mean, well, it may not be, but the way you kind of throw it out there as if those particular electorates were going to be on the ballot. No. And so I'm like, hell,
no,
I ain't seen nobody's name because I will cuss,
But you are voting for them. So those people who may have
voting
been
by proxy, by voting for whatever
right.
Party.
So if you actually were a Democrat, but you cast your vote for Jill Stein this year, you didn't cast your vote for any of those electorates that would vote your party's way. So again, you threw away a vote that mattered. But you don't, these are things that people don't know, but the knowledge, the information is out there. The government has to make all that information public.
Yeah, but I don't know how things are going to go going forward with this particular president and the way he's trying to
pay attention,
ban the media from certain situations and go against the media. It might be a little tricky. I already know the next 4 years are definitely going to be tricky.
Pay attention. It's all about paying attention. And then you also have to remember that you can't just vote for the president. You also need to get in and vote for your governor. You need to vote for your House of your state House of Representatives. You need to vote for laws and acts that go up under your city's constitution, your state's constitution. It's a lot easier to change things on the state level than it is on the federal level. So the Electoral College, we want it gone. Unfortunately, in order to change the Constitution, it takes 2/3 majority vote. Now, anybody who watched Schoolhouse Rock knows that it takes 2/3 majority vote to make a bill become a law in the Constitution. However, when it comes to state government, it's a lot easier to get things passed. Right now, there is the National Popular Vote Act, and it's a bill that's going around, and some states have actually adopted it. And basically what it says is the electorates in that state have to vote with the popular vote, no matter what. These are things you need to be demanding from your congressman. Let your voice be heard by your congressman, by your local state representatives. Let them hear where you stand, because the Constitution only says that the electors cast the vote and they are the ones that vote for the president. That's all the Constitution says. But the electors and how they are put in office and how they vote, that's all up to the state, and every state is different. So you need to go in, see what your states do, and see what your states say, and then look into the National Popular Voting Act and talk to your congressman. Open your mouth. They got a phone, they got an email, they got a mail.
And social media.
And social media. They actually want to hear from you, especially black congressmen and people that deal with those urban districts. They want to hear from their people. They want to hear their people speak up. You got a voice, use it. That's all I'm saying. Now, would you want to say?
No, don't try to bring me back after 25 minutes of filibuster. But no, I understand where you're coming from. I just, like, initially it was like you were attacking black people for wanting to have a president that speaks for us. But eventually you were able to come around and I guess.
That's why I kept saying, let me finish.
No, because where you were going, had I not, we would have lost all the people that listen to us.
No,
all of the people.
Let me finish.
No. It was wrong. But I totally understand what you're talking about. It's going to be interesting to see where we as a country go. And shout out to all the women that came together on today for the Women's March.
I don't have any information on it yet. I know I wanted to discuss it today, but unfortunately it's still today. So
yeah, but like we were seeing marches. It happened in DC, and I think DC had about 500,000 women come together, had more people or participants than the presidential inauguration. I can guarantee you that. California or Los Angeles had 750,000 people in participation. Chicago had about 200,000.
There were marches here. There
was a march here too, yes.
State.
And there were marches across the country.
But there were marches across the country, but there are actually marches across the world.
That's yes. I wasn't just saying this country. Yeah.
I thought that was so neat and so cool that march went across the world. It went across the globe, countries all over, Paris, Europe, Britain, all of those. I mean, I was amazed at how big this had gotten.
I was seeing photos from different marches, and I got almost emotional just seeing all these people of different colors, and they are protesting against Donald Trump.
Was it? I didn't think this march was necessarily supposed to be against him.
Well, it
was so weird to see all those signs.
Yeah, but because he and his administration are
totally
are so against
everybody.
Yes, and women. And so women came together like, fuck what you heard. We are here and we're not going anywhere. And
I can't wait to see the actual numbers on how many states and all their numbers and how many people actually
But it was
marched.
it was a beautiful thing to see, because you didn't just see black women. No. You didn't just see white women. You saw all shades, and there were men there in support as well, because we as a people have to come together and continue to fight what's going on in government.
It was beautiful. And we got to take responsibility. That's just it. And that's my message right there. Take some responsibility. Look at what happened. Was it the Congress's first day? They wanted to basically completely gut their ethics committee.
Yeah.
And the people yelled and screamed.
Because they didn't want anybody to be checking them and seeing what's going on.
The people yelled and screamed. And now we're going to table it until later.
That's the problem.
They're gonna table it until they think we not looking. We gotta keep our eyes on.
Right. They're gonna wait. They're waiting on us to go to sleep. And this is what I'm saying. And this is what's so frustrating, because you don't have a balance as far as Congress is concerned. Because the Republican Party isn't going to go against the Republican president. I don't believe for one moment. They got idiots being confirmed in Donald Trump's cabinet. And they're proving it. The Democrats are calling them out on their bullshit, and they're proving that these people are unqualified, 100% unqualified. And he wants to give them a position of power, and Republicans are going to go along with it because Daddy said so.
Did you see Betsy DeVos?
Yes, I saw that bullshit. The Secretary of Education. She's a fucking idiot. She don't seem to have a high school education to me personally. But she got money.
He's always talking about, he says his cabinet has the highest IQ ever. I'm like, no, it don't.
Because he's the one who's spewing this false and fake news, because he's a fucking liar.
He's the number one source of fake news.
And I'm glad when Bernie Sanders kind of called her out, like, do you think for one moment that you would be here if your family didn't contribute as much money as they
I
had.
love Bernie Sanders.
And him and Elizabeth Warren, I mean, the Democrats were calling
Elizabeth
their
was
asses
on
out. And her dumb ass gonna say that I think what was Sandy, what city was or state was Sandy Hook in, but their representative was questioning her about guns in the school. And she was like, she brought up this example that she believes this school needed a gun for a damn grizzly. A grizzly. And it's like, are you even listening to what who prepped you for this?
Nobody.
I mean, you know what? The sad part is nobody had to, because the Republicans are in control and they're going to confirm daddy's picks.
They're going to confirm all these little rich people, and all these little rich people are going to do
and she wants to take money from public school funding and move it into private school funding, where people, you go to private school because you got the fucking funds to pay for private school.
And that's the thing. That's what they're doing. Here they are giving us the short end of the stick. See, the system is rigged, but it's only rigged because we don't have the education. And so now they're trying to take that education from us. Don't let your children get stuck with a crappy ass education just because of that pick. If they take it from public schools, if that's what ends up happening, because it's going to be very little we can do about a lot of this. If they end up doing that, you need to make sure you got your butt and you sitting there with your kid. And I'm sorry, if that means somebody's boss got to be pissed off, somebody's boss got to be pissed off. If that means mamas and children's and grandmas and uncles and aunts got to come together, and it takes a village to raise a child, it always has. Come together and start putting these little learning teams and all of these little learning squads together for these kids, and educate your children. Make sure your children do not get a lack of education because some stupid asses in Congress making a decision that you don't agree with, and you have to go work. I get it. You got to go work. You got to keep a roof over your head.
Right.
But you need to work with your neighbors, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, your mamas, daddies, and build some kind of support system and team that's going to make sure your children get educated.
And you know, like as I was hearing her confirmation, the first thing I thought is, even though there were some people who
she hasn't been confirmed.
It's coming. The people, not only did, like, you know, some smart people and they voted for Donald Trump for whatever reason, but he got a lot of votes and he's able to manipulate a lot of uneducated poor people. And to have this woman want to take funding from the public schools, put it in private schools to create more uneducated people, because they realize how easy it is to manipulate the stupid,
the uneducated people. And this is, you know, this is how
this is a ploy.
This is how they got the poor people. You know, everybody says, yeah, he went and he talked to him and blah, 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 blah. And I'm okay, that has something to do with it. But you know what? When it comes to white poor people, as long as you make them feel better than something, they don't feel at the bottom of the barrel, they're okay. So white poor people still believe that they're better than black people.
Yeah, and
so
other minorities.
Keep black people at the bottom of the barrel, white poor people don't think about anything else. I mean, because to me, I cannot fathom why these people in coal country haven't found another way to support coal country. And I'm not talking about just Mr. and Mrs. Joe sitting on the corner. I'm talking about their city council. I'm talking about their government, their governors. I can't understand, to me,
people who are supposed to be educated
in coal country have not found a way for coal country to support itself. I don't see how they haven't said, okay, you know what, General Motors, bring down a plant here and we will not charge you all any city and state taxes. Because guess what? You put our people to work. We can finally start getting taxes from them, because all we doing is giving out welfare checks. I don't understand that for the life of me. I watched one lady sit there and say her pension was $64. I don't know what you got to do to only get $64 a month, but her pension.
Prostitutes make more than that.
Her pension was only $64. Her husband had died from black coal, and she voted for Trump even though she knew that the possibility of Obamacare being removed and her losing the money that she gets because he died from black coal. See, the money she got from him dying from black coal only comes because of Obamacare. With Obamacare removed, they don't get that money. So she knew her little $64 check and that money was the only thing she had supporting her home.
Right.
And she
found a way to justify it
for Trump because, he's going to bring jobs. Your ass too old to work. What the hell?
Maybe she got 100 kids and she just wants them to work.
I don't know what it is, but I can't fathom. And that's just me.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom why these cities have not tried to find another way. When that coal didn't just, they didn't look up one day and say, okay, no more coal. It slowly went away.
You have to remember that, maybe, and I don't know for sure, but maybe they have, uneducated people there. And then, like we said the last time we talked about this, a corrupt government. Because why wouldn't you be concerned about, you may, talk about jobs in your city, but you can't just talk about it. If you're in a position of power in your local government, then you should be doing something about it instead of collecting a check from people who can't afford to pay your ass.
Move to where the jobs are.
As far as the constituents, the people.
Move to where, I'm sorry, there are options out there. And even Trump said that. Oh my God, I can't believe that. But even he said that if I was in coal and there was no more coal jobs, I would go to a place where they were. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy to pack up and move, but when you have absolutely nothing.
This lady's going to have to move. She's definitely going to have to move.
You got to do something to survive. It's like these people just decided they were going to sit there. And again, I'm not there. I'm not in that city. I don't know.
Right.
But from what I'm seeing, I'm just like, okay, why are y'all still
there?
But
you also have to realize that you have common sense and you are way more educated than some of these people. So,
and that might be true.
I mean, it has to be true because, again, it doesn't make sense for them to continue to be there waiting. That's it.
Somebody in coal country would call us or comment and let us know why they feel, why they're there. Because I would really like to know why stay someplace and continue to raise a family and have children and their children have children and so forth and so on. And there's nothing. And there's nothing.
They waiting
for what?
The savior. I don't know.
I mean, and then they begging for coal jobs, and coal jobs kill. They kill.
Well, you just said the lady's husband died of black lung, so that should be proof enough.
Anyway,
but if it's all you know,
I guess it's all you know. Well, anyway, take responsibility. Move on. National Popular Vote bill. Talk to your local congressman. Let's make a change. This is 2017, the asshole was there. Let's do better next time.
Yeah, and continue to fight. Don't give up. Don't just accept whatever he throws at us. If you don't like something, make sure you go to your local government.
Pick up your phone.
Hold the coals to the fire.
I mean, shut their phones down. Do whatever you got to do to get your local and state employees, because the reality is these are your employees.
I just heard today that people have been calling who's the speaker? Paul Ryan, is that his name? I can't fuck that dude. But anyway, it's been going across online. People posted his phone number where you can call and talk about the Affordable Care Act or leave a message, but you can't leave a message because the message box is full. Because it's so many people, they got some shit to say about it, but they do not care. You know what? I know we were trying to wrap up, but one other thing that kind of came to my mind, it was circulating that maybe Russia has some incriminating stuff on Donald Trump, and so they're kind of using him as the puppet. It's been said that Russia also hacked the Republican National Convention, or the Republicans. Right. So I'm wondering if the reason that they are so gullible and going along with shit they know is absolutely wrong is because there's also stuff on them that they don't want to get out.
You know what? I don't think it has anything to do with that, to be truthfully honest.
You think it's
No, I think these Republicans had one plan in mind.
Which is?
They plan on impeaching him. That's just my thought process.
Really?
Yes, I do believe they want to impeach him and they want to put Pence in here.
But can you say that they want to impeach him when they are currently going along with him?
Yes. Because
start now.
Yes, they had to get him in office because you can't impeach him before he gets in office. If you do, that creates a whole nother situation, and nobody knows how that will work if he gets impeached before he's actually in office. But once he's in office, it is a guarantee then that if he's impeached, Pence becomes
I just can't see them going against him. That's just me, but I hope they stand up for the American people.
They had a problem with him. They didn't think he was going to win either during the primary.
Oh, I know.
So they've always had a problem with him. But you know what? Okay, we're going to come together, get him in, then impeach him. put in Pence, because Pence is our boy, and Pence is, one of theirs. Put in Pence.
He knows. Pence knows the game.
Yeah, let
he
Pence
at least
run this
knows how to
country,
shut the fuck
and
up.
we'll be
He at
good.
least knows how not to tweet and get us into more trouble.
Somebody need to pull that man's Twitter account.
He's still gonna be tweeting. He said
he wasn't. He's not gonna use the POTUS account.
Good.
He gonna use his own.
I've been seeing all kind of my followers are blocking POTUS and the floaters
Well, he
Twitter
said
accounts.
he wasn't gonna use the POTUS account.
I don't follow him.
So Obama put his new handle up,
and
and
Barack
his
Obama
handle already has more followers than Trump's. Dude, just admit one time that, okay, maybe I didn't. All you got to do is say, maybe I didn't do as good as I thought I did. That's all I ask, and shut the hell up. But every time you turn around, I'm the best, I'm number one, I'm this, and if somebody doesn't
his
agree,
people believe it.
It's a lie.
His people believe it. He, like I said, he's the one who's spewing these lies.
The
and his
numbers
fake
are
news.
there. The information is there.
But they're getting the information from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, and
the horse's lying
is
ass.
the number one distributor of fake news.
The other countries, they have to be fucking laughing.
They are dying
at us right now.
But you know what? It was after a Brexit happened over in Britain. 2 of the British actresses had done a little stint on The View. Talking about some new movie they had anyway. But one thing they said is, we didn't think it would happen to us, but it can happen. So just watch out. Don't sit here and think this won't happen, because it just happened to us, and it can. And lo and behold, this little hand jackass is in there. So anyway, I digress. Before we go, I want to let in on a light-hearted note. So, this woman in China.
Is this possible?
Well, you got to hear the story.
Okay.
There's this woman in China. She wanted to buy a house. So what she did is she got her 20 boyfriends to each buy her an iPhone, the new iPhone. And then she took those 20 iPhones and she sold them online on some website. And she got enough money to put a down payment on a house.
Like, what, $20,000 or something?
I mean,
you said it's in China?
It's in Chinese money, so I didn't understand it. So I just knew it was enough money for her to get a down payment on a house.
With 20 boyfriends?
With 20 boyfriends.
So they got...
What you think?
How
would you feel if your girlfriend had 20 boyfriends and wanted each of y'all to buy her an iPhone?
But then it becomes our house. Because I promise you, if I find out that the phone I bought for you, you sold it, any gift I get for you and you sell it, we got a problem. Because no, I'm not cool with that.
Some people are saying that men run game on women all the time, so maybe it's time we start running game on them.
No. Maybe men do, but I don't. I don't run game. So if she did that to me, we have a problem.
You gonna want half the house?
No, the house is mine.
Well, it was only one iPhone in yours.
It don't matter.
You only get 20%.
No, the house is mine, and we together forever.
Oh.
And the other boyfriends can't come.
But what if they feel like you?
Oh, they can't. I was first.
And on that note, we are going to end the show. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.
Peace.